Welcome back, friends, to a new Magic Arena video, and what we're going to be doing today is looking at the top 13 mono blue cards for post-rotation standard moving into Guilds of Ravnica. And if your card or cards did not make this list, then let me know in the comments section. Let me know what card or cards and why it should have made this list. And yes, of course, I will have all 13 of these cards posted in the description so that you can copy them if you'd like to. And before we get into the video, I want to thank you for spending some of your quality time to come hang out with me today, and let's do it, right? So check this out. Mono blue, mono red, red blue, it doesn't really matter. Wizards, a lot of people are talking about wizards, and Siren Stormtamer is amazing. I am so shocked that it's barely just now seeing play in standard. There's a mono blue aggro list going out there with Siren Stormtamer in it, and it's just amazing. It's a 1/1 for 1 blue. It evades. You can sack it to counter a spell that targets a creature or you. It's nothing but upside, and it's a really amazing card. And I'm just, like I said, I'm really shocked it hasn't been seeing a lot more play. And I think that if red blue wizards is going to be a thing in standard when Guilds of Ravnica does drop, this card will for sure see play. I don't see it not seeing any play. Spell Pierce. Woo! I've been hit by this card so many times. So many times. I am not even joking. Like in Paper Magic and in Magic Arena, like nobody expects you to have this, right? So most aggro decks are going to pack this if they're using blue in their list. So like blue-red wizards, mono-blue aggro, whatever the case is. Or even if you're just splashing a smidge bit of blue for like negates or spell pierces, you're probably going to be playing this either main board or sideboard. This card will for sure see gameplay. I mean, it may not see it right off the bat, but depending on how many, people are playing like removal decks and things like that. But most of the time when rotation happens, most players are playing like a really heavy aggro-based deck because that's usually the best deck to play, okay? Syncopate. This is stupid good. Like, it has historically been a really, really good card. 1 blue X, counter a spell, and exile it. The exile effect is actually super relevant, okay? Not just in the current standard meta, the exiling effect is super relevant, but especially moving forward. There's a lot of cards that play on graveyards, the undergrowth or, what have you, basically, right? And Syncopate is a clean answer to any spell for the most part, so you don't get that undergrowth benefit. Also, Syncopate is just a really good counter spell if you're playing a control deck. You go land turn 1, land turn 2, your opponent plays their land, plays their 2-drop, Syncopate it for 1, done deal. Like I said, it's a really, really good counter spell, and I for sure will. So this will for sure see gameplay. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Blink of an eye, amazing. Like, this is Boomerang with nothing but upside. That's all I'm going to say. I think Boomerang is 2 blue? Maybe? I don't know. I can't remember the card. Anyways, basically, you pay for it, replaces itself. This is especially really relevant in mid-range-ish to, like, control matchups. Blink of an Eye will 100% see play. It wasn't seeing play originally when it came out, but people started putting it in their blue-white control decks because they realized that they can save their Teferi, they can bounce like an Ixalan's Binding and then replay it the very next turn to get something a lot worse off the table. That's all I'm trying to say right there is that Blink of an Eye is a premium bounce card, so I believe it will see gameplay. Charta Course. If blue-red wizards is a thing, Charta Course will be played most likely in that deck. Also, Nexus of Fate, Turbo Fog, will probably be a deck moving forward. About the only deck a Turbo Fog will lose to is like a really fast aggro deck, like a really fast Boros deck. Aside from that, Nexus of Fate is broken. Like, Turbo Fog will probably be dominating the format just because, unless you're playing cards like Assassin's Trophy, Baraska's Contempt to deal with all the planeswalkers, you're probably not going to beat that deck, especially if they've got enough fogs to just blank your aggro game plan. That's all I'm trying to say right there. Charta Course will for sure see play, all right? It's really good. Essence Scatter. This is a very obvious card. This is almost a staple in any kind of control deck that's playing blue. 2-mana counter target creature spell. Very powerful. I'm not going to say much about that. Not only that, but it does see a lot of sideboard gameplay for those kind of like mid-rangey matchups, right? So in the current standard, Dimir mid-range plays this in the sideboard, and they play like one maybe main board, but the sideboard is really good. Any other kind of blue? I don't know. I'm not gonna go too much into this. This is a very self-explanatory card in my opinion. Negate, same exact thing. This started seeing main board play in the current standard meta. For moving forward, I think this is going to see more of a sideboarded approach because, like I said, aggro is really, really relevant at the start of rotation, right? Because a lot of people are losing all their powerhouse cards that made mid-range and control decks really strong. And historically, that's the way it's always been. I mean, I would be so shocked if when Guilds of Ravnica does drop that mid-range and control decks are dominating the format, you know? Like I said, Boros most likely will be the dominating deck, so Negate will probably see a lot of sideboard gameplay. That's all I'm going to say about that. Search of Azcanta. Oh, I hate this card, but I love it at the same time. This sees eternal play for the most part. This is just a really powerful card. It's probably one of the best, if not the best, mono blue card in the complete existence of Standard right now, and moving forward even. Like, this is probably the best card out of all of the other cards I can list. This is probably the best card. Yes, there's a lot of incidental enchantment and artifact removal people can mainboard. Like, Mono White's got a really good answer for it. White Green does. I mean, Black-Green now does, and so Search of Azcanta will still see play. It really will, even though people will incidentally say, oh, well, you're going to search on 2? Okay, well, I'll Assassin's Trophy that, or I'll use my 2-drop, 2-2, Vigilance, tap it, kill an enchantment, artifact, or Planeswalker, I think is what... Anyways, the mono white card, I forget the actual card name, but, you know, people will play it. Search of Azcanta... It already has enough hate as it is going against it because it's so powerful. I don't see people not playing this card. That's all I'm going to say about that. The Mirari Conjecture. Oh, the jank tank continues. All I'm going to say about that is that the Mirari of Conjecture is so unbelievably underpowered right now. I could honestly see somebody trying to build a Jeskai deck and putting Mirari Conjecture in there, because when it drops down, you get an instant card back. So like the lesser than World Leader Helix, you know, the 4 mana, white, red, and 2 colorless, deal 3 damage, gain 3 life. Well, I play Mirari, next turn, I'm gonna, you know, basically bolt that, gain 3 life, and then I can get a sorcery, you know what I mean? Like, Mirari Conjecture, you can even bounce it at the beginning of your turn, so like the effect goes on the stack, bounce it, and you know, I don't know, look, Mirari of Conjecture, it is a jank card, but I think it's going to see play pretty much in those... I want to see like more of like Jeskai control decks. I really don't see... Or is it control decks? That's about what I'm going to say about that. I think it'll see play. That's all I'm going to say about that. I don't really see other cards taking this slot. I really don't. I looked at all the cards I've got, and by the way, I've got all of them, and I just didn't see a card better than this to list. Tezzeret! This card will see... probably minimal play, but it is a very powerful mono blue card. The reason why Tezzeret is not seeing a whole lot of play right now is because it's kind of underwhelming. Like, there's not a whole lot of artifacts being played right now unless you're playing Blue Storm, which, by the way, I am in paperback version. It's pretty... I love it. I really do. But, you know, look, it comes down. You've got to wait 5 turns. 5! That's such a long time for it to ultimate. And so, but I don't really see anything else being better than it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Karn's Temporal Sundering. This is just a powerful card. I mean, it really is. You can bounce a non-land permanent to their owner's hand and take an extra turn, but you exile it. I think it's going to see play, especially in the Turbo Fog list, which, by the way, I might make. You know, it's just a really good card. It really is. And maybe it might see a 1 or a 2 of in the deck, but nonetheless, it will for sure see play. Because I think Turbo Fog is going to be a deck, because there's just not a whole lot of cards stopping it. You know what I mean? There's just not. Let's see here. Nezha Hall. Now this card, this is mostly a sideboard card, but man, is it really good. In my opinion, though, it's better than Chromium. I really do. I believe so. Because it can dodge board sweepers. That's the biggest, like, deciding factor, is that it can dodge board sweepers. It can dodge... any sort of like Settle the Wreckage, Cleansing Nova, you know, it's just really good. You got no maximum hand size. Whenever your opponent casts a non-creature spell, you draw a card. It's just a powerful card, and it ends the game really fast. It really, really does, like really, really fast. And last but not least, you've got Nexus of Fate. I believe this card will absolutely see standard play. I don't believe the Turbo Fog decks are out and down for the count. In fact, like I said, I might be building a Turbo Fog deck because, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to Assassin's Trophy one of my lands? Okay, I'll just go get a new land. You know, what are you going to do? Assassin's Trophy my Search of Azcanta? Okay, that's fine. Oh, you got Unmoored Ego. Oh no, I'm going to name Nexus of Fate. Okay, I'm still going to go off with Teferi. Like, people think that a card like Unmoored Ego is a really stupid good card. It is for Modern and Legacy, but for Standard, typically speaking, you have alternate win conditions. You don't just depend on like Nexus of Fate. You don't just depend on Teferi. There's usually one or two more win conditions in like a Turbo Fog type of deck, and I think it's going to see play. And that pretty much concludes my 13 best mono blue cards. There will be a red, a green, a white, an artifact. There will be a best cards to make and the overall best cards in the format, as well as like the colored cards, all that good stuff. You know, when you put the little gold ring right there, you know what I mean? Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I was a little long-winded. I apologize for that. I'll try to make the other ones shorter, but y'all know what I'm talking about though, right? Love, peace, and chicken grease. Be safe. Thanks for stopping by to spend some of your quality time. And yeah, stay classy.